Hey guys, welcome to Trading Paperbacks. I'm Josh Gilliam,
I'm Gary Torres.
and we're here to talk all things comic books. We have 6 books in the new release rack to get through this week, so let's just get right into it. All right, Gary. Second time's the charm. We recorded 15 minutes or 20 of this and realized it was never going. So
It is unfortunate. Hilarious, but unfortunate.
we're gonna get back into this for us, I guess. This is our third episode. This is the big. We actually have a headliner this week. Normally, we just are talking about the 6 books, and we're still doing that. But the first 2 up on our docket right now are special because, Gary, these past 2 weeks, we've had the release of 2 big team books, one from Marvel, one from DC. Those being West Coast Avengers #1 and Justice League Unlimited #1. And I wanted to see book versus book, which one we thought was better, and then which one the audience, the general audience of these books, seemed to think is better. So we're going to start off this week by talking about West Coast Avengers #1, written by Gary Dugan and art by Danny Kim. Gary, I love this book. I really do.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. It is a fantastic #1.
Yeah, we got the tease right when the book was announced that Ultron is going to be a good guy now. He's on the main Avengers lineup. And I think he's great. I mean, he's the first hero we see in this issue. And everyone's like, whoa, aren't you the guy who's always fighting them? What do you mean the Avengers are here to save us?
Yeah, he just shows up and says, oh, yeah, I'm going to help you guys out.
Yeah, so I really like that. I think this book is written very well. I think there's a certain level of humor to it that cannot be matched. And I think it looks incredible. But getting into the book itself, this is supposed to tie in a little bit with the current Iron Man run. And I wish that Iron Man run was a lot more like this book, because there's a very clear separation. Because the one in that book, in Iron Man, he's very like serious. He's going through some shit. He's supposed to be like darker.
He's losing his company. He's losing a lot.
Tony Stark in West Coast Avengers? Man, he's having a ball.
He's living it up.
He's having a great time. He's driving a Ferrari to a storage unit. He's like, yeah, I may be having some issues with the suit, but I got a classic up in the storage unit that we could throw together. And we get the Silver Centurion suit, which still looks incredible, with car batteries duct taped to the side.
I loved it. Just 2 car batteries just duct taped to his sides, hoping it lasts.
It's really good. I love it. Then, of course, we get a fun fight scene with Iron Man and these goons who have been sent after him. And he takes them out, but he runs out of juice. So he's like, I'm out of juice, but I'm not out of fists. He just flat out punches one of them. Yeah, I really wish I saw more of this Tony Stark in that proper Iron Man run, because I love this. I also want to touch on real quick the storage unit he goes to for the Silver Centurion suit seems to be some sort of West Coast Avengers storage locker. I don't know why he just has a storage unit
just full of all this Avengers
stuff.
Equipment.
But there was a lot of little like cameo artifacts in there that I want to touch on real quick. We saw Vision's suit as well as Scarlet Witch's. We saw a shield that I believe belongs to U.S. Agent. I believe there was Daredevil's billy clubs, Hawkeye's bow, and he throws a red coat out of one of the boxes that very much belongs to Wonder Man.
It's a treasure trove, honestly.
It is. I love it. We of course get a fight scene that he pulls up to on a moped because he has run out of juice.
Just fully suited up, has the helmet on.
Yeah, I love that
I'll be there soon.
I love that he has a helmet on over the Iron Man armor. It's phenomenal. And, you know, we get that. We get Blue Bolt, who is on this team because this is War Machine wants to do like a rehabilitation kind of thing. So he has all these people who had been in prison, and he's wanting to do this because, of course, in Invincible Iron Man, he did do a stint in jail. We get Blue Bolts is on the team, and he has just fucked everything up.
Yeah, not even 2 pages in, and he's already just messing it all up.
He's hospitalized by the Third.
Like, Ultron even told him, Please don't do that. You're supposed to be sitting on the sidelines. Just don't do a thing.
We get a conversation between Spider-Woman, Iron Man, and this cancer patient that I think didn't do a lot in the moment. I mean, it did more for Spider-Woman, but then we get, of course, get a nice conversation between Iron Man and Spider-Woman regarding why is she on the team, why have they assembled this to begin with, before getting another talk between Firestar and Iron Man to kind of tease that she's going to be in this.
Yeah, solidify another candidate for West Coast.
We also get to see what their headquarters is going to be. It looks like we're going to be set up in an airport, which I think is a lot of fun. Most of it's going to be their headquarters. Part of it's going to be like a housing development.
Yep, just giving back to the community and then still having that Avengers touch on that airport.
Yeah, I love that. They can get everywhere in the West Coast in like 5 minutes, I think they said. I think it's all great. I love it. I love the art in this. It's so good. It looks something straight out of the 70s or 80s. There's a part of this where I think it's the panel where Iron Man is about to come in on the moped, where they're all just standing lined up.
They're
War
just
Machine
waiting.
looks like shit. And I love it. I love when the Iron people look like that because it's just how they looked in the 70s.
Yeah, they have that little underdeveloped type of look.
Yeah, everything's very plain and straight. I think it's great. I wish we'll get into it when we talk more about Iron Man issue 2. I wish that book looked more like this.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end, we get a tease of the Gospel of Ultron, because I guess the Ultron we're seeing may not be the real deal.
Double agent.
So, yeah, I mean, this book left me very hyped up for what's to come, more so than maybe any other book on this list.
I'd have to agree, honestly.
Yeah, I thought this was great. But, Gary, you know what else was great?
What, Josh?
Justice League Unlimited #1, written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora. I think this was a phenomenal issue 1. But I know you have some lesser opinions of this book, so I'd love to hear them.
Don't hate it. I didn't thoroughly enjoy it. But all in all, it wasn't a bad issue. It's just, it feels like normal Justice League things that happen. Nothing really crazy. I want it to get more personal because that's what it seems like it wants to do. But like for
Yeah.
a #1, the only personal side of it is its new character Airwave,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's her name? Sapphire.
Star Sapphire, yeah.
Star Sapphire, yes. That's how personal it got, really. Otherwise, like, it feels like just a very normal type of JLU thing where they want to be personal, but at the same time, they're still tackling, like, the big world problems going all over the globe.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. That, though, is one of the things I love about JLU because, I do like that we can focus in on some smaller characters because it's not like we have to really lock in on whatever main 7 DC are running in the Justice League. Justice League Unlimited, we can't focus on everyone. So, we will get a issue on like Metamorpho, an issue on Star Sapphire like we got this week. We'll get a Blue Beetle one maybe. I
Probably
think
since
all
he was
that's
shown
great.
in issue 1.
Yes, we do get, for the most part, it is a team of like Superman, Wonder Woman, Star Sapphire, Black Lightning, and I believe Kid Flash.
Yes.
And they're going and fighting this big wheel thing in the and not the desert,
In
in the jungle.
Africa.
Yeah, so a lot of that is them trying to save the people this has been affecting while Wonder Woman and Superman kind of beat it up. A good chunk of this is Star Sapphire not wanting to lose someone and going through the process of trying to save them, and Airwave trying to help them out.
Yeah, Red Tornado just didn't really want to let him do anything. Just kind of wanted him to watch and learn.
Yeah. I think all of that was great, you know? So I think a big part of this book for me that I like is some of the smaller interactions we can have with our heroes and some of the more vignette style spotlights. Another thing I really like is when we can zoom out and look at the DC universe as a whole, because Justice League Unlimited, of course, means everyone's on the team. We get Flash running Airwave, new character, around the Watchtower at the very beginning. Man, we see the JSA. We see that this is a meeting spot for the Titans. We see that the Challengers of the Unknown are running around. The Atom Project is assembled and trying to figure out how to get things together. I think this is great. And I think there was a good bit of humor in that scene with the Flash. But I don't think the humor in this overtakes what happened in West Coast.
Yeah, it's the West Coast humor overpowered the JLU humor.
Agreed. And a big part of JLU was this twist ending at the end where whoever had sent this big thing that they were fighting is teasing that, like, oh, well, we already have some people amongst your ranks. And Airwave had helped save the day. And spoiler, at the very end of this comic, he is revealed to be one of the people that they have sent to dismantle the Justice League.
Yeah, the Infernos.
Correct, yeah. That's a whatever reveal to me. It's just kind of there.
It's just there. It just happened. That's cool.
I'm more excited about what they're teasing to happen in issue 2 regarding Batman and Blue Beetle are on kind of a side quest here. And they're sent to a jungle where this small town where they are like their kids are getting kidnapped and they walk into the forest and all these like alien pods are there. And
Yeah, just to spread out along the entire forest.
yeah, I'm more excited about what's going to be happening there than anything with the Airwave reveal.
Is it just because it's got Batman? Is that why?
Oh, it's Batman and Blue Beetle, and I don't know, it just looks more interesting than Big Wheel in the African jungle.
Yeah, because Batman's just more into like the detective side, is what they're showing, at least for this one, that first
Yeah.
issue.
So I think that as these books evolve, I see JLU maybe having some potential. And I think West Coast also has some potential. But right now, issue 1, I think the better team book that released these past 2 weeks is West Coast Avengers from Marvel.
Hmm. Can you tell us why exactly?
I think you and I read a lot of Marvel stuff, but this was not a decision made from that. I think that I look for a certain level of humor in my comics. I tend to gravitate and really appreciate writers who can delve into some of the humorous aspects of some of these characters. There's a reason I absolutely adore the current X Factor run. And I think they have knocked it out of the park, Gary Dugan, with West Coast Avengers #1. There's a phenomenal amount of humor. I think the artwork is exactly what I've been looking for in a Marvel comic, especially after reading Iron Man #2. And I just think the characters in general had a little bit more heart to heart, interestingly enough. I'm more excited to see where that team goes. Also, the tease on what's to come in these books, the Ultron reveal had me well more excited than the Airwave or even this space pod thing in
Yeah, there was
JLU.
just more anticipation.
Yeah. But Gary, I want to hear which book took it for you.
I'm gonna have to agree with you that West Coast is taking the cake. It just feels like the stronger of the two. Nothing very personal, even if we do cover more Marvel related things. We're trying to branch out to the DC side. But I don't know. It's more, it feels like it's providing more of a well rounded type of book where like JLU is just feeling like, oh yeah, we want to show you our new guy. We want to show you Star Sapphire to get a little bit more onto the personal side. But like at the same time, I'm not very on the edge of my seat to see what's going on.
Totally get it. Yeah. And I agree. Now, public opinion, JLU is charting better.
Really?
Yes, so as I say in every episode, we use League of Comic Geeks to chart ratings and any numbers related to that. West Coast Avengers is sitting at a 92% from 340 ratings at the
Wow.
time of recording.
That's kind of low for what I was expecting.
Agreed. Now, JLU number one is sitting at a 97% from 1,200 readers.
Oh, wow. They do have a
So,
bigger follow base then for this one.
well, DC tends to, especially a book like Justice League or The Absolute Line, these tend to get more attraction.
Hmm.
You know, a West Coast Avengers book, they're always putting out Avengers. So
Yeah.
I could see a lot of people having skipped out on this.
Okay.
Whereas something like when X-Men number one released, that was like 3,000 people had voted on that.
Oh, wow. It is about the numbers.
So I understand. However, we do have a third team book to talk about, Gary.
Do we now?
We do. Now, this is not one of our headlining ones. We've obviously decided you and I prefer West Coast, and that's an opinion that the public would consider wrong.
Heinous by the sound of it.
But we're going to be talking about another team book here, Gary. X-Men number 8 from Marvel released this week, written by Jed MacKay, art by Ryan Stegman. This was the first issue in a 4-part crossover between X-Men and Uncanny X-Men called Raid on Grimulkin. I thought this issue was phenomenal. What did you think of it?
I'd have to agree. Honestly, it's a very good turn on saying, hey, what happened to him now? What happened to Beast? He's been taken.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing Grimulkin of how all the mutants are taken care of, quote unquote, taken care of there.
Yeah.
And Cyclops is not happy about it.
No, he starts this issue off fucking pissed. He's so mad at the start of this issue. I mean, his boy got kidnapped. I understand.
And not just him, Jubilee and Calico from Uncanny.
From Uncanny, yes, they were taken back in issue 6, which I guess was the previous issue. So they are trying to adjust to prison life. Calico saying, oh, I don't like this food. Can I have something else? And Jubilee's like, what the hell are you talking about?
We're
There's no something else to be had. We're in prison.
we're mutants. This is the best we're gonna get, and you'll have to
Yeah,
deal with it.
I think this is a great first issue for this 4-part crossover event. I think Jed MacKay is really good at writing this X-Men team. I think the art from Ryan Stegman looks incredible. One thing I love when Jed MacKay's writing this is he's really showcasing Cyclops' tactical mindset. Because even when he's mad, he's saying, all right, we're going to enact the Hellions protocols. I need you two sweeping telekinetically or telepathically.
Yeah, he's still calm, cool, and collective
Yeah.
while trying to not like let the pot tilt over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I mean, they're really magic. Psylocke and Scott, they're all running in there. They're taking on the bad guys. They're doing like strife attacks with the ship.
Yep,
I think it's all really good.
it's all a coordinated assault on Grimulkin.
Yeah, I think it's great, except it's not all that coordinated because we do get in the final pages of this the Louisiana X-Men team, as they've dubbed themselves, comes in and says, "Oh, great. You dragged your feet long enough, and when we do it, now you're doing it." So I thought that was really good. I'm excited to see where this second issue takes him, which will be picked back up in Uncanny X-Men number 7. I'm very hyped to see that. One thing I did like from this also was we now have the different distinction because we have 3 different X-Men books running right now. They have apparently dubbed themselves the Alaskan X-Men, while the Uncanny team is the Louisianian X-Men. And they do not bring up what's happening between Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost in Chicago, but there is an exceptional X-Men team brewing, which I guess will be the Chicago X-Men. I don't know. I don't foresee those crossing over anytime soon.
Maybe they'll be the East Coast Avengers or mid East.
Maybe Mid-Eastern of X-Men.
Yeah,
No, so I thought this was a phenomenal issue, Gary. What do you think of it?
I'd say it's a very good issue. Honestly, it makes me wonder, why am I waiting for the next one? Why
Yeah,
can't I have it
I
now?
want to know.
Give me the next Uncanny. While on top of that, give me the next X-Men, since they're tying together. I want to see both sides of X-Men stories.
Yeah, do you think this is going to pick up in Uncanny number 7, do you think it's going to show them like their initial attack, or do you think this is going to pick up where it left off?
I think it's gonna pick up where it left off, but at the same time give you little snippets of how they got there.
You think so?
I hope so.
Okay. Because a part of me does feel like it's going to be their, they're going in to Grimolkin, and then it will end the same way,
Yeah,
and then we'll like really pick up on issue 3, which I hope isn't the case.
yeah. I mean, it seems like it would, but yeah, again, hopefully not.
I'm excited to see where this goes in the following X-Men and Uncanny X-Men issues. But Gary, let's take a quick step away from team books. That seems to be the big theme of the week.
Backing up.
Two-Face number 1 from DC, written by Christian Ward, art by Fabio Veras, came out this past week.
We were waiting on this one.
I was really excited for this book, genuinely. I really love the concept that he's just going to be an underground lawyer for criminals. I think it's great, and I think the issue gives us exactly that. I love it.
Yeah, it's a whole issue of a court scene, just like Harvey Dent still trying to be Harvey Dent and not be consumed by the Two-Face persona.
Mm-hmm. What was it called? The White Court?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
White Chapel or White
Oh,
Court.
you're right. The White Gospel, wasn't it?
It was one of the
We
three.
came unprepared today.
It's been a long day, viewers. Apologies.
Whatever the hell this underground courtroom is. Yeah, he's representing Victor Zsasz in this first issue. I think it's phenomenal. I think Victor Zsasz is a man who wants to be let off the hook. Immediately grabs a young girl and like points a gun at her head and is like, "You're all gonna let me walk out of here." And it's one of my favorite lines in the whole book is when he goes, "You fucking idiot! If you had let me finish, I was about to prove you were innocent."
He's like, I'll just add you to my tally marks. And he's like, are you just so dumb? You are about to win.
Yeah. So I think this is great. We see evidence be presented, and it is literally the victims who they're discussing.
Just the corpse, and
The,
everybody's just fed up with, like, why are the bodies here? They reek.
yeah, I think it's great. I think when he does eventually uncover like who has done this in the courtroom, they're like, "Oh shoot, what do we do with him?" And he's like, "I'm gonna flip this coin," and then he does it. And he just kills him.
Yep.
I thought it was great, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. I actually do not know because normally you and I are filled in on whether something is going to be a mini series or a full series based on what it says in the preview catalog. I'd actually, thinking about it now, don't remember the last time I received one.
I could not tell you, honestly, because we did get one, I think, last month that we got our freebie catalog. And it mentioned it, but it didn't. I don't remember it saying if it was a 5 off, if it was an ongoing.
I want to say this is out of 5.
It seems like it would be a 5 off.
I'm excited for this, though. I really enjoyed this. I want to see where it goes. We get the tease or reveal at the end that, of course, this is Harvey Dent had like kind of faked the whole Two-Face part of it, and that this was Harvey Dent the whole time. Like he has locked away the Two-Face persona.
Yeah, he's trying to keep a hold on it and just say, you're not real, you're not there.
Yeah.
While the Two-Face persona is like, oh, I'm here, I'm gonna take this, and you're not gonna be here anymore.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this. I like seeing the struggle with Harvey Dent on like his Two-Face persona. I've always enjoyed it. I really liked Tommy Lee Jones's portrayal
Yeah.
of Two-Face and Batman and Robin. That's where I kind of found this character as a kid. So yeah, to see him like properly representing someone in court, especially after the way we got to see Harvey Dent do courtroom stuff and Joker fully ado. Sorry to be bringing movies into this comic podcast.
Gotta stick to the pages,
I
Josh.
know there's a whole separate podcast where I can gush about this stuff, but
We will talk about it at the end.
I really enjoyed this issue. I'm very excited to see where it goes. So, break over, Gary. We're talking about more team books.
Oh boy,
The
back to the
Ultimates
teams.
The Ultimates number 7, written by Denise Camp, art by Juan Frigeri. This was a bit of a slow book.
Well, yeah, it kind of has to be compared to the sixth issue.
Yeah, I feel like the past 3 issues have been really, really intense.
Yeah,
I mean, it really kind of started with that issue 4, the Doom issue. It wasn't even that it was intense, like there was big fighting and everything, but it was so exploratory and deep with very few words, and like really ran us through how Doom has gotten to be this way in this Ultimate Universe.
yeah, just how Reed Richards has just crumbled since not getting hit with those what was it?
The
It's not
cosmic rays.
yes, the cosmic rays giving him and his team the powers that they were deserving of but weren't allowed by the maker.
Yeah. And then, of course, in issue 5, we got Captain America battling Hawkeye for the right to the bow. In issue 6, we got that big fight between the Ultimates and Hulk, who in this universe is also the Iron Fist.
That was crazy for
That
me.
was an insane issue. So to come back from all those, I was really excited. I'm like, okay, shit has gone down. And spoiler alert from here on out for Ultimates number 7, at the end of issue 6, Tony Stark, the Iron Lad here, had died. So I'm thinking, oh damn, we gotta like really pick up some pieces here. Like this is gonna be an intense episode. This is,
Yeah, there's got to be something going on here.
but no, we kind of got a team that's licking their wounds. Like we got Captain America and the Human Torch, who I really, maybe I have not been paying close enough attention. Was this the first real conversation he's had with anyone in this series?
I'd have to assume so because they only mentioned him in issue 6 if memory serves it. And then they made him out to sound like he's an android, but like I can't tell if he is cuz he looks like a person and
Yeah.
he's from the Captain America's era since they have memories of
Mm-hmm.
Steve's time, but I'm not really I'm drawing blanks when it comes to the Human Torch for this.
I am too. But he's in it. He's in it. He and Cap are having a conversation about, well, you and I have lost people. You and I have been through war. These people haven't.
Yeah.
How do they
They're
know
all
how to
still
do
very
anything?
green to what's actually happening.
Yeah.
That was their
Which
first major loss.
I think is interesting, especially the Human Torch saying, "Hey, um, they need a leader, and your leader's dead. So what are you gonna do now?"
Yeah, it's getting Captain America to actually step up to his role.
Yeah. I also, in addition to that, we get Hank and Janet. They're at the memorial, which kind of ties into that Ultimate Spider-Man, where Matt Murdock is giving that eulogy and about the terrorist attack that happened a year prior.
Yep.
So I guess it's interesting that all of that's happening together because we did get part of that in Ultimate Spider-Man number 11, if you'd recall.
Indeed.
So I thought that was interesting. And Thor and Sif are cool now, I guess. They're going to go explore
Yeah. They're
realms.
heading to Yggdrasil to check on the rest of the realms, overthrow Loki, try to stabilize things in Asgard by the sound of it.
Yeah. And then I think the big one here, because a lot of this issue was just talking. There was no fighting, there was no action, there was just conversation.
Yeah. I mean, after 3 issues of back to back, just stuff building up to the fight in 6, you kind of
Yeah.
need the breather.
Yeah. And I know Marvel, for the most part, when they release their trade paperbacks, you're running issues 1 through 5 or 1 through 6 for the first one. So I get that 1 through 6 happened, and now this is like
Yeah, the start of the next paperback.
even the synopsis for this issue 7 said like the a new arc begins. So I get this is like the first starting point here where we can have an issue where new readers can come in and say, "Oh, okay, so shit went down in the last one, I guess, but I've not read that, so I'm just going to pick up from here." So I get this was kind of like a well, why can't I do this? Oh, because of this. Oh, okay, kind of issue.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted more from it. But the big conversation here was She Hulk being mad at Doom because she can't go home. This was not the big conversation because She Hulk can't go home. This was the big conversation because of the reveal at the end of the book that Iron Lad is alive and he's now getting his arc reactor.
Yeah, he's in critical condition, hanging on by a thread in a tube.
Yeah. The arc reactor looks really uncomfortable.
It really does.
It's not like normal Iron Man where he's just got a thing in his chest. He's got like a whole like new rib cage that's metal and stuff.
Yeah, he looks like he's been redone.
Mm-hmm. It don't look great,
Well, he's
but
gonna have to live with it for now,
yeah, right.
unfortunately.
I'm still excited to see where this goes. I think the Ultimates has been a really good run. I just think this was a weaker issue. This might be one of the weakest issues they've put out. And I think it's because we're coming off the back of such an insane 6 issue run.
Yeah, that first sixer, that first paperback is pretty loaded up, so they got to start slow again, is all.
Yeah, and I get that like we came off a crazy run and now this is just kind of the first issue where we have a moment to breathe, but it's like I didn't want a moment to breathe. I
Yeah,
wanted to keep going. Yeah, I hope to see issue 8 come back. We're supposed to get the ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy, whether that be just them coming in saying hi or if this is going to be a backdoor pilot of sorts for their own book. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it.
I need it.
Gary, the last book in our new release rack is Iron Man number 2 from Marvel, written by Spencer Ackerman, art by Julius Ota. This is the one book. I know I said in the last one I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't do more because they've been doing so much. This book was too much. So much happened here. I don't understand half of what happened here. I think this was a disappointing book.
Yeah, it feels like one point you're having a conversation in just in an office of like, "Hey, can you help me out with the board trying
Mm-hmm.
to reclaim the company and stuff?" And then at the same time, there's a whole scene just going on in the back of like, what even is happening? They're talking about the pipeline being destroyed. Like, okay, that's something. Like it just I don't know, it doesn't feel like all that much happened and too much happened at the same time.
Right? That's kind of this
It's just
whole
odd.
it's insane to me. I feel like this is the second issue of this run and I feel like they've covered a whole graphic novel's worth of content, but they've just skimmed over it all, so none of it matters.
Yeah, it makes you think, "Oh, did you miss something here?" Oh no, you didn't. It's just cuz they glazed over it or something.
Yeah.
They said this is the gray area for this part.
I mean, that first issue, if you recall, they had done like he'd fought some Hulklings, he had a coma, he went to a board meeting, he fought some magic.
Yeah.
This second issue, he's fighting a big lizard, he's going around trying to get people to sign off on him keeping his company, he's going somewhere, the scientist supreme, he's fighting Dr. Druid, he's having insane mental flashbacks.
And he's got to rush 45 minutes to get back to the next board meeting to try and get back his company again.
And at the end, our big reveal is he has a big sword.
Yep, the biggest reveal. He said, "I need to cut this short. I'm running late, and I'll be by the meeting by tomorrow. Let me just waste all my energy on a massive sword."
Yeah. So I'm a bit. This is Spencer Ackerman, the writer. This is his first time ever writing a book, a comic book series, that is. And it's odd to me that Marvel handed him the reins of what is now like a major IP for them, Iron Man.
Yeah,
It's weird to me they have let this happen. I like the line right off the bat. He says, "How could a comic company be evil?"
it seems like a silent jab, if you ask me.
Yeah, right. I also have a note here that says, "This art isn't my favorite." Now, I wanted to kind of save this more for this issue because we touched on it a bit when talking about West Coast. How this definitely feels like it should be connecting more with that. Like this Tony Stark is majorly sad and going through some shit and he's trying to fight for his life and his company. And West Coast Avengers Tony Stark is just fucking driving Ferraris around and having a great time.
Yeah.
Seems to me like this book needs to be a little less dark and a little less steampunk for some reason.
Yeah, this thing. This I'm not against the steampunk vibe, but like, there is just no light to it,
Mm-mm.
and it feels like it's hard to even try to fit in any light because everything's just against him right now. His
Right?
suits are against him. The board members to the company are against him. Like nobody's really in his corner. It's
Yeah.
just him.
No, I didn't care for this issue at all. And I want to get back to the art. There is a part in this where he like is sent into his mind and basically they're grazing over Demon in a bottle. Very famous Iron Man story arc. The art in that looked phenomenal. I love 70s art styles in comic books, and I saw that part and I was like, damn, I wish the whole book looked like this. I could excuse 50% of all the bullshit I can't understand that's happening in this if it looked like something out of the 70s.
He
And
said, "I need
then
the pretty pictures."
and then 2 books later I open up West Coast Avengers. I'm like, this is it. This is it. Look, Iron Man looks like shit. I love it.
I love how he just looks horrible with straight lines, no detail.
I love how he looks like one of those shitty Star Wars action figures from the 90s. It's incredible.
Is that a stormtrooper or is that Iron Man?
Yeah, Stormtrooper, is that a. Did they just not paint one of them? They all look the same. Like, it's
Oh.
great, you know? But the artwork is like too real, and Tony Stark looks too disheveled.
Yeah, he just looks too down in the dumps, so beat up.
Yeah,
He doesn't have that he doesn't have that Tony Stark charisma just cuz he's just so down in the dumps.
yeah,
Everything's just hitting the fan for him and he just wants to try and bounce back.
yeah. This was a real. I didn't care for this issue. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Did not
perfect.
care for it.
The only thing I have 2 notes, and then let's just move on because I think we're both too disappointed to talk about this book.
Yeah.
The sword is pretty cool, but it's also fundamentally useless. And there's a spelling error on the second to last page. It's supposed to say delay that, but he put a B, so it says belay that.
I think that's meant to be there.
Is it?
Yeah, belay is a word.
Yeah, but he's talking about like, hey, whoa, let's push that back.
Yeah, that's the same thing. It means a similar thing. It's like a synonym.
What the fuck were you doing in regular classes, Gary?
I was below average classes.
What the hell? To fix a rope around a cleat?
I don't think you looked up the right belay.
Belay.
There's
Stop
multiple.
something short.
Yeah.
That was our new release rack. Before we can move on to anything else, what is the book of the week?
The book of the week. It's honestly gonna have to be West Coast.
I yeah, I think everyone should have seen that coming.
Hard number two is gonna be X-Men though.
Ooh, let's look. I really like Two-Face, but I'm gonna have to agree that X-Men number 8,
They could fight for a second, honestly, because I did enjoy Two Face, but I don't know. It's just because I'm excited to see what's gonna happen at the raid.
right? I think JLU is holding down third for me. I think it's definitely West Coast X-Men than JLU. I know
Okay.
JLU is probably a little lower for you, Gary.
This is why we have our own opinions.
But what matters is Iron Man number 2 is at the bottom.
That we can agree on.
All right. All right, Gary, what have we been reading?
Oh boy.
You've been reading a lot more than I have.
I've been reading too much, Josh.
So
Too
I'm
much.
going to let you take the reins on this section. I want to hear everything. I want to hear your opinions on what you've cracked open.
What I've cracked open, I have we went to our local comic book shop this Black Friday that passed,
Oh yeah, we did.
and we picked up quite a few stragglers here and there that were on sale.
Yep.
And I gladly took upon myself to grab the trade paperback for Doctor Strange, The Life of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, no, that's that first 5 or 6 issues in the Doctor Strange run that like just wrapped up, right?
Yep, it goes all the way from issue 1 to issue 5 in the paperback, but the run runs till issue 18, catching up to the current Blood Hunt.
Ugh.
I know. Don't even get me started. That's the only thing I'm going to talk about with that. But honestly, this Doctor Strange run is pretty good, and it makes me want to find the next set, the 6 through 10 or 6 through 11, whatever the next set of trade paperback it has. I feel like I need it.
Yeah.
It's just giving you the day in the life of like Doctor Strange's norms with his wife Clea Strange.
Yeah, I'd heard really good things about that run. I had thought about picking it up myself, and then you saw that book and was like, "Oh yeah, that's this," and you were like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, no, it's done."
Yeah, I've just been more in tune with the supernaturals, I guess, when it comes to these.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a good hopping on place for me, and I guess I'm going to have to give it a read if it's as good as you say it is, especially if they're capping it at issue 18. It sounded like it was really good, so I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just need more of it. That's all I could say, really. It's just telling you, oh, one day he's doing this. Like the first issue is just giving his day to day of what he does per page, though. Like one page is one day, next page is the next day. One day he'll be like a psych consultant for somebody. The next day he'll be like just an actual doctor. The next day he'll be hopping into another dimension talking to a warlord, just like regular sorcerer supreme stuff, and it's just day to day. That's what he does.
Huh.
That's just the first issue.
I really like that.
I do too. It feels very casual too, the way they throw it together.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. What else has been on your docket?
On my docket, I have been looking into, I say looking into, but I have been I did pick up Spirits of Vengeance number 3.
Yes, we talked about issue 2 in the last episode or the one before that, I believe.
Yeah, I'll only talk about it a little bit just cuz it interested me though that it had two separate Spirits of Vengeance like actually conversing and going head to head, because one of the spirits, I can't remember his name. I know the other one is named Kowalski though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The current spirit is looking for Kowalski to look for his host, and
Mm-hmm.
Kowalski knows where he is, but won't tell him. So they get into an all-out brawl. He has his own gang, Kowalski. So the spirit is just fighting him off, trying to just fight for his life, really, just to try and find his host, just to get back together and be one piece.
Hmm.
And Kowalski's just pushing him over the edge, saying, "Hey, I'm just gonna get rid of you because I'm gonna end up getting rid of all of them at some
Oh,
point." And he's like, you can't really kill me because I'm just thirsting for the vengeance that you took my host and set him somewhere. So he's
yeah.
nearing death. He gets stronger. He gets bigger because his fuel of vengeance is just stronger than death.
Interesting. Yeah, I've not had a chance to pick that one up from you, so I'm excited to give that one a read.
What else? What else? It's just been a binge lately of just like catching
Yeah, I
up.
know. That's I was gonna say I was mainly binging the Ultimates
Yeah, that was
because
me too.
I it's not even that I hadn't read them. Like I had issue 1, I'd read issues 2 and 3
Just haven't had the
on
time to get
Marvel
to it.
Unlimited. I just every time we went to the shop they had 4, 5 and 6. I had just never grabbed them, and finally a week or two ago I was like, "You know what? Issue 7's going to come out. I'd like to talk about it on here. I'm going to grab them and I'm going to read them."
Yeah, I was mostly just playing catch up. I read a couple things here and there, but it was mostly just catch up for not just today's episode, but just
In
catch up of
general.
my own.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a massive backlog of things I need to read. And instead of touching that, like you said on Black Friday, we went through and snagged a bunch of stuff. I walked out of there, I think, with 3 graphic novels for sure. One of which was Daredevil Born Again. and I've had a chance to kind of start reading through that. It's so good. I've never read it before. It's an incredible story. It really is. I'm going to have to slide it to you when I'm done with it. I don't even want to talk about all that much of it because I don't want to like spoil it from you.
I appreciate it. I
Just know
appreciate
that
it.
Matt Murdock is going through a very, very rough time. Kingpin is absolutely doing some wild shit.
Yeah, that just sounds like
Standard
normal
Daredevil
behavior.
stuff, but
Yeah.
this is like
It is interesting though by the sound of it.
when we were at the checkout buying our stuff, the guy who owns our local comic shop, he said, he's looking through all the stuff. He goes, "That was really good." Uh, and he looks at Daredevil Born Again and he goes, "You can't get any better." And I totally agree.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, you're getting back-to-back grade A's right here."
Oh yeah, I think I picked up Daredevil Born Again, Civil War, as well as Secret Invasion.
Yes.
Phenomenal books. I've read a little bit of all of them. They're really good. Gary,
Josh?
have you read anything else that you want to talk about, or is that going to be about it?
I think it will cover it for now, just because I have to do a reread, honestly, of Blade Red Band. Picked up 2 last week, but it's just we've read
Yeah.
so much. Just again, not just for this episode, but for our own enjoyment, that it's all kind of smushing together.
Yeah, and because of that smushing together, I get we're only 3 episodes in, but this is the first time I'll be doing this announcement. This is our final regular episode of the year.
Unfortunately,
We will be taking a break for Christmas. There will be an episode coming out after this, but it will not be the same styling here where we cover the 6 new books and talk about stuff that's like on the pool list. What have we been reading? We will be sitting down and covering a graphic novel from start to finish, giving our thoughts and feelings on it. That novel, of course, is going to be Secret Wars, the 2015 Jonathan Hickman classic.
the big kahuna is what we call it here.
So we are looking very forward to sitting down and having that conversation because we don't need to kind of limit ourselves when talking about our pool lists now. This isn't just the pool list. What should you be pulling in the next 2 weeks? We do not return for episode 5 of Trading Paperbacks till January 18th. So you're going to be without us for a little bit. We're taking some time. We're putting a lot of work in behind the scenes all over this parent company, Fourth Dimension Broadcasting. We're trying to really rank up production here.
Trying to get the ball rolling on all cylinders, trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
everything caught up to at least similar episode numbers.
This and the last movie run should be, when we come back in January, it'll be a lot more consistent. It'll be what I like to think it'll be a lot better. We are now going to talk about our pool lists, not just for the next 2 weeks, but for what is essentially the next month.
Oof. That's
So
a list.
strap in, Gary. This is the last thing we're doing for this episode, of course. But, Gary, do you have any pools for this coming week, December 11th?
I only have a singular book for December 11th,
God, typical.
unfortunately. I have Spirits of Vengeance number 4.
Oh, wow. They're really cranking those out. Okay.
I'm happy and excited about it.
All right. December 11th, let's see. I have Phoenix number 6 is coming out. That should be the issue where she finally goes on and fights Thanos. I'm looking forward to that. Uncanny X-Men number 7, the continuation to this Raid on Grimulkin storyline. So I am excited that that is coming out next week. X Factor number 5, which looks very good. I love the cover. It has all of them, like they have skulls.
Oh, wow. I do like
Yeah,
that A.
I think it looks really good. And then the book I'm looking most forward to, we got that Ultimate Universe book right after Ultimate Invasion to kind of like set up everything happening.
Yeah. Giving you the whole rundown.
December 11th, we were getting Ultimate Universe 1 year in.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm excited for this because Nick Fury is on the cover. And Nick Fury in the OG Ultimate Universe was obviously a big deal. So I'm excited for him to finally like enter the fold and for this to move forward. I want to see Shield. I want to see a bunch of it. I'm very much looking forward to that book next week. Gary, moving on. December 18th, what you got?
Helverine #1 and TVA #1, Josh.
Oh, now you've been talking nonstop about TVA.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a direct continuation of the series Loki season 2.
Oh, is it really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
it has the same writer of season 2 as well writing this
Oh,
book.
damn.
That would be Catherine Blair,
Hmm.
an artist Para Perez. Forgive me, I have butchered that, but I cannot read it that well.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the writer from Loki season 2. I like that a lot. Damn. Yeah, see, what do I have? Absolute Batman #3 from DC. Challengers of the Unknown #1 from DC, which Challengers of the Unknown haven't gotten like anything in a long time, so I'm a little excited to see them returning. Marvel side, Sentinels #3 comes out, which should bring Magneto into the fold for that book. I'm excited to see that. And then the two big ones I'm excited for that week. Fantastic Four #27. Because anytime a Fantastic Four book is in my pool list, I know it's going to be a good week.
It's your bread and butter week.
Oh my god, I love this Fantastic Four run so much. This has the Mole Man on the cover. I love it. And then Gary, Ultimate Spider-Man #12.
Oh, the Christmas special.
The Christmas cover. This is honestly the book that made me go back and really start grabbing all these. I mean, how could I not?
That A cover just screams anticipation.
It's beautiful. Gary, The Week of Christmas, December 25th.
That Christmas week, I have Blade Red Band #3, the brand new, what we've been anticipating, Hellhunters #1,
Oh,
Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu #3.
my god, does that come out?
Yeah. Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk #1.
That one does look really good.
I'm very interested in this Sabretooth book. And of course, Hellhunters. Hellhunters is the top for my Christmas list.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Hell Hunters. So Gary, for mine, Iron Man #3 is coming out, and this might be the last Iron Man book I pull. They have this last shot, and maybe I'll give them issue 4 to pull it together. Otherwise, I think I'm ready to stop
That's
pulling
giving them a
this.
lot of leeway.
What it is giving them $10 to write a bad book, so they better pull it together. Because if by issue 4 this hasn't turned around, it's off my pull list.
Understandable. You got to lighten the load.
But everything else that week, incredible. Gary, West Coast Avengers #2,
I'm on my edge of my seat.
X-Men #9, Part 3 of Raid on Grey Mulkin, Hell Hunters #1, something you and we don't always, we actually very rarely do this where we get our own copies of things because you and I just kind of pass a lot of stuff back and forth. Hell Hunters is one of those books where it's like we needed.
I need my own.
I'm not sharing, Gary.
I can't. I honestly can't part without it.
I understand. The hype for this one is real. And the big one I think for that week is Time Slide #1. So in the past they had done like for X-Men the past couple years they've been doing the Hellfire Gala books,
Yeah.
which is kind of like it ties everything together and shows you what's going to be happening for the next year of X books. They're not doing Hellfire Gala this year. They're going to be instead be doing this Time Slide book, which will star Bishop and Cable.
Hmm.
And I think that looks really good. And I think that, if you're an X-Men fan, should 100% be on your pull list. Gary, that would take us through the end of the year.
That was a quick year.
It really was. I want to know what's happening on January 1st for you.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have anything till January 15th.
Really? You don't have anything those first 2 weeks of January?
I was gonna pull Magic #1, but I'm kind of waiting to see reviews because I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
too much with Magic, but I want to is the thing. So
You
I'm kind of waiting to see.
okay, yeah, you do that a lot where you're like, "Oh, well, I don't know if that's going to actually be good or not, so I'm going to like you
Yeah,
always come with me, but
yeah,
you'll like read reviews in the car and you'll like, "Oh, if he has one more, I'll grab it."
yeah.
This is a known thing you do, man.
I can't deny it. Like, it's just, it is what it is.
I think I'm gonna lighten my January 1st load by the time it comes out. X Force #7 drops on January 1st. I honestly meant to stop pulling this, but I ended up with issue 6 today, so I guess I'm gonna read it. I've been really disappointed with this run, and if issue 6 was just okay, I think I'm just gonna stop. Because I'm really not interested in pulling this series anymore. But if issue 6 like really wows me, because that is the 1 through 6, that is their graphic novel, and
Hmm.
I'm okay letting it go after that.
Yeah, you've been saying you've been waiting to see if anything happens or just be
And it
done
never
with it.
does. It never does.
Yeah.
So, um, that's on the list, but honestly, by the time it rolls out, I may just completely be ignoring it. But what I won't be ignoring is X Factor #6.
Oh, I'm waiting for you to pass me that.
Damn, this looks good. The cover just has all of them fighting each other.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be an internal feud.
It's great. The first line is in the synopsis is betrayed. X Factor have survived their most grueling trial yet. Who can they turn to and who can endure another betrayal? So I'm interested for that one. And then we get Ultimates #8, which will bring Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy into the fold. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And then the big thing for me is I'm pulling a trade paperback that week. Get Fury, which was a 6-issue miniseries that came out this past year, is getting its full 6-issue trade paperback. I wanted to pull this, but by the time I realized it was coming out, they were 5 issues in, and I was already pulling a lot of things.
Yeah, you've been telling me that you've been waiting for the trade paperback just to get it all at once.
Yeah, because
Yeah, like you said, it was already
it's
very far
it'll all
along.
be in one place.
Yeah.
I didn't mind waiting because it's a mini series. It's not tying into anything, so I don't mind the wait.
Yeah, it's just its own thing.
I'm doing the same thing with Mystique, because that is a 5 or 6 issue miniseries that I'm waiting to grab it all in one spot.
I get you. I get you.
So that's going to be my January 1st. And you said you have nothing for January 8th?
Nope, nothing.
Insanity. Well, I'll tell you what I have is Absolute Batman #4. You know you're going to get to read that.
Yeah. A lot of
Ultimate
these are just pass off ones. If I didn't
Ultimate
know you, I'd probably be grabbing these then.
Absolute Batman is one of these that you just can't be passing on right now.
There's no physical way.
Sentinels #4 will be coming out that week, as well as Wolverine #5, which just by the cover alone looks like we're really going to be getting back into that cyber storyline that you and I were complaining about in the last episode.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. And Uncanny X-Men #8, which will be the finale to Raid on Grey Mulkin. Oh, did I miss one?
Did you
Is
now?
that Marvel and Disney What If Mickey and Friends became the Fantastic Four #1?
I don't think so. I think you missed that one,
No,
Josh.
I think that's what it is.
No, no,
Is this the
no.
best book I've ever seen?
I think that is a
Is
fib.
that is that Goofy as the Human Torch?
I don't think
Is
so.
that oh, is that Donald Duck is the Thing?
You're really reaching now.
You know who's reaching? Mickey Mouse is Mr.
I
Fantastic.
fell into that one. Just conversed about it and get it over with, please.
And Minnie Mouse is the Invisible Woman. I'm looking forward to this. I love these little what if Disney books.
Yeah, what if Disney covered? Thank you.
All right. And then, of course, the week we return, we'll be talking, headlining that conversation will be Ultimate Wolverine #1, which comes out January 15th.
The big front runner.
You will be hearing from us again, but it will be in a pre recorded, non weekly kind of thing we do here. And we'll be covering Secret Wars. And when we come back in January, we're going to be doing like a special comeback episode before we get back into our regular habits here. If any of those books that we talked about in the pool list sound really good to you, just know that we will be talking about so many books in our comeback episode. It looks like normally we do 6 on our new release rack. It looks like right now we're going to be covering 10 books
Oof.
in that comeback episode.
That's a meaty return.
So that will be a meaty return, like you said. And I'm excited for it. I mean, we're covering 3 different Ultimate things: the Raid on Gromolkin arc, Time Slide #1, all the Absolute comics from DC, Hellhunters #1, and Challengers of the Unknown #1.
Just so many. And I'm
Way
excited.
more than 10, actually.
We'll just say 10 to be safe for the moment.
Something like 14.
That is hefty.
We may have to break it into 2 parts. We'll see.
That's okay.
But, Gary, are you ready to wrap it up?
I think I am ready.
All right. This has been Trading Paperbacks. I've been your host, Josh Gilliam.
Co-host Gary Torres.
If you like this episode, you'll probably like my other podcast that Gary is on all the time, The Last Movie Run, which you can see on our little podcasting network here on whatever you're listening to, Fourth Dimension Broadcasting. So if you like this episode, you want to hear more, please feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Hell, leave a hate comment. Maybe you hated this episode. Just, I don't know why you'd listen all the way to the end, but do it anyway. Please go share and support our channels. We will see you all in 2 weeks to talk about Secret Wars, and then we'll see you in January.
January.
God, it's going to be a new year, but will it be a new me?
Maybe.
It won't be.
Ah,
I'm going to be worse.
probably.
I'm going to be worse, and I'm going to be unreachable.
Unfortunate.
I'm going to make an email so everyone can send me things, and I'm never going to respond. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.